steadily from 2013 to 2015, and they were actually improving before the vote even happened, along with people's income. Both indices were improving. The EU and the UK have been closely tied together for decades, officially since the early 70s. That's when they started the EU together, I think. UK joined in 1973. So what does this agreement mean for Europe? How does the country leave such an established community? I spoke with Nile Gardiner. He's a senior fellow at the right-leaning Heritage Foundation. Nile, reports say that a Brexit deal has been reached. We have not seen the final language just yet. So let me begin by asking you, what would it mean for the UK if, in fact, Brexit goes through?
Well, Brexit is a huge deal for the United Kingdom, and Brexit represents sovereignty, self-determination, and freedom for the British people after several decades within the European Union. This also means that Britain should be able to sign its own free trade agreements across the world, control its own borders, decide who comes into the country. So on so many fronts, this Brexit deal hopefully will result in a sovereign Britain that is fully able to control its own laws, its own destiny, and its future on the world stage.
And it sounds like you're supportive of this exit. We should note, obviously, that about half of British voters were not, but it looks like it's going through. It's not a done deal yet, as you say, and that's because my understanding is first she has to present it to her cabinet, plus the EU also has to accept the terms?
Yeah, that's correct. And so Brexit is definitely happening regardless of whether this latest negotiation with the European Union succeeds. I mean, Britain can opt for a no-deal scenario if it chooses to do so. So Brexit will take place on March 29th, 2019. I think the key issue here is what kind of deal that Theresa May gets with the European Union. She's going to be presenting that deal to her own cabinet this week. It will then need to be approved by Parliament. And already...
Both houses or just one house?
Well, it has to be approved by the House of Commons, actually, to go forward.
House of Lords not involved?
Well, the House of Lords, I think, will have some involvement here, but ultimately, this is a matter for the House of Commons to move forward on.
If I can just tick through 4 major items, and you can tell me maybe in 1 sentence or 2 sentences what you think is optimal or likely to happen. First of all, this border between Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Well, the real question is whether there's going to be a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. I think the details of the the border agreement are being finessed right now, but I imagine a solution will be found whereby you don't have a hard border between the two countries.
Will Britain be able to set its own migration and immigration levels?
Well, Britain should be able to do that, and Britain should have full control over its borders, and I think that will be the most likely scenario, that Britain does have full control over its borders.
Will EU do, just like kind of an omnibus trade deal, or are they going to have to go piecemeal, country by country?
So Britain ideally should be in a position to negotiate free trade agreements with any and every country across the world if it chooses to do so. But if Britain is tied to the EU customs union, it will not have the freedom to negotiate its own free trade deal. So this is the big sticking point for the Brexiteers within the Conservative Party, who want to have Britain in a situation where they have complete freedom to do so. This issue is not yet fully settled, I think.
How, if at all, does this affect the U.S. if this Brexit deal does go through successfully?
Well, Brexit is clearly in the U.S. national interest, and the U.S. administration has given 100% backing for Brexit, and also for a U.S.-UK free trade agreement. So Brexit is good news for America. It will boost the U.S. economy, and hopefully we'll have a free trade agreement between America and Great Britain, the world's largest and 5th largest economies.
Like I said there, not everyone agrees with everything Nile was saying or what the Brexiters are saying, but it's good to understand the deal, because you could